Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO. I am determined and dedicated to helping you. Yes, I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice, at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart, is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Well, hey there, homeschoolers. I hope you are having a simple and wonderful summer as we start to think about getting back into the groove and getting ready for a new semester. I really wanted to stay in this mindset of simplicity because I think it can be your secret weapon. When I even hear the word simplicity, by the way, I have to tell you, it takes me back to my junior high days. Did you call 7th and 8th grade junior high? I know at some point 6th grade joined in with 7th and 8th graders and they started to call it middle school. That wasn't the world I lived in. I called it junior high. Curious about you. Anyway, one of my most favorite and memorable moments of middle school was the home economics class we had to take when we were in 8th grade. It was a cooking and sewing class. These are skills we should still be teaching our kids, 100%. I hope you're teaching cooking. I hope you're teaching sewing of some sort, right? These are good household skills. Anyway, I sewed my promotion dress in 8th grade. I can picture it. I remember it. Thin white and blue horizontal stripes. It had a cute tie that went around the middle and about a 1-inch strap that went over my shoulders. It was super cute. I wore a little white sweater with it. I remember it perfectly. White sandals, totally can picture this. I need to find the photo. That would be fun to post. But I know I used a simplicity pattern. And my grandmother sewed, and so it was great. I had my awesome home ec teacher, and then I also had my grandmother who was an excellent seamstress, and we would always use these simplicity patterns for all kinds of things. And I do think it is still a well-known brand in the sewing world. I don't think it's gone away. But thinking of it, those simplicity patterns, wasn't that a brilliant idea? It took the intricacies involved in sewing and it simplified the process so that anybody could sew a promotion dress, one simple step at a time. And here's what I love about it. The beauty of my finished and not perfect product didn't come from complexity. It came from this thoughtful simplicity. It was accessible to me. I could do it in doable steps. I had a great home economics teacher. I had my grandmother. And through that, a rather complex thing, sewing a dress, it let me create that, something wonderful, just one simple step at a time. And I want to carry that over to you as a homeschooling parent, because homeschooling works the same way. We're not in homeschooling to try to stitch together a perfect masterpiece of learning and education. We all know that doesn't exist. So what I want to encourage you with this week is to create a thoughtful design and pay careful attention, as well as look for the people, and hopefully I can be one of them, who's already walked the path and can guide you. Because with that, you can be very successful as a homeschooling family. You know I love analogies. And so now I'm just thinking about how, just like sewing with a pattern, sometimes the smartest thing we can do is to follow those simple steps and trust the process. So if you would love to experience more peace this upcoming semester, certainly more progress, certainly more success, let's talk about how creating simplicity in your home, in your learning environment, is going to make teaching easier and wiser and more enjoyable. I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory, though. I wanted to talk about Leonardo da Vinci for a moment. You know Leonardo da Vinci, very common name, gentleman from the late 1400s. Think Italian Renaissance, Michelangelo, right? That time period. He painted the Mona Lisa. I'm sure you know that, right? And he sketched a lot of inventions. Like, he had flying machines way before they existed. And he is credited with a quote that says, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." He valued simplicity. I mean, it's how his mind worked. And that is important to consider, because when we look at these masterpieces of his, it all started with a very simple idea. And he worked on this little part and this little part, and he put in the time. He was a master at distilling complexity and breaking it into these elegant, functional pieces and designs. I mean, it was art, it was architecture, it was invention. He believed that true genius was not about making things more complicated. And many artists do feel this way. They have to take something that looks complicated, and then they have to reduce that to its purest, most effective form to turn it into what they're envisioning. His notebooks were filled with illustrations that showcased how these profound ideas could be expressed with clarity, with precision, and he was all about simplifying the complexities of nature. And I just imagine being a mom during the time of Leonardo da Vinci, raising children in a world at the time that was bursting with discovery and art and invention. These were bold new ideas, but is it so different from what we're doing today? Our kids are growing up in an era of vast information and opportunity. And just like those great thinkers like Da Vinci and Michelangelo, the people of the Renaissance, they believed they didn't need more. They had what they had. They just needed guidance, focus, and room to think deeply. That's what they did. And that is where simplicity shines. So there are 3 points that I want to make this week. And then I have a couple exercises I want to do with you. If you're driving, that will be challenging because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. But if you can get to a place where you might be able to have a little quiet time for yourself, grab your journal while you head there. And while you do that, I just want to point out 3 things why I 100% believe that simplicity scales success. And I want you to consider simplifying your next set of lessons and instructions as you go into a new semester. Okay, so 3 very important things. Number 1, simplicity offers clarity. And when we can be more clear on what's getting done on any given day, you're going to reduce overwhelm. So I want you to get in a mindset of focusing on a few key objectives each day that both you and your child are going to understand are the goals. And you will see with time, trust the process, all of a sudden there's going to be more confidence and less feelings of being scattered or confused. So we're going to focus in on clarity. The second point that I want you to consider as you simplify things, I want you to know that simplicity offers consistency and predictability. And with both of those, you're going to get this sustainability in your homeschooling environment. You want to think of simple routines, things that become consistent, predictable, and sustainable. That's so much easier to maintain. I tell this to my writing students all the time. Here's what I want you to do. If I had it my way, I would have you do writing the first thing every morning. So let's say by the time you're up, you get dressed, you have breakfast, you brush your teeth, you're ready to learn. Let's say it's 9 a.m. now. You know that at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday from 9 to 9:30, you're going to work on writing. It's so simple. Each day could look different. One day you might be learning about the prompt you're going to be writing to. And then one day you may be reading some research articles and taking some notes. One day you could be working on your outline. It's okay. It's just 30 simple minutes consistently over time. And what happens with that, I have seen it firsthand. You're going to experience more long-term growth and less burnout. The third reason why I 100% believe simplicity scales success is that simplicity replaces busyness. You don't want busyness. That busyness sounds like, oh, we're doing so much. Look at this long list. I just give my kids a long list. I say, here are the 20 things you need to get done today. Yeah, no, that's not what's best for our young learners. Instead, you want to simplify the learning. It's better to go deeper and do less than rushing and saying, look at all I did, but I never connected to anything I did. I never really connected to the book we were reading. I never connected to the writing I was creating. I was just go, 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 because mom said if I got it all done in 2 hours, I'm done for the rest of the day. That's creating busyness. That is not simplicity. Simplicity goes deeper. So keep those three things in mind. I'll repeat them for you. So simplicity scales success by offering clarity, consistency, and depth. Those are the things you're going to get focusing on a more simple homeschooling environment. So like I said, I do have 2 exercises that I want to lead you through today. My whole hope in this is to get your mind to open up and reflect so that you can add in this next semester the things that are going to best serve you and move the needle in the most positive direction, okay? So the first exercise I want you to do is to close your eyes, and in your mind, I want you to picture a week from last semester, a crazy week of your homeschool life. You might be like, oh, they were months. They weren't weeks. They were crazy months. Okay, just imagine right now you have a lesson plan book out in front of you, or your digital lesson plan, however you did things. You've got your schedule, your calendar, whatever you want to look at. And I want you to look at it. It's laid out before you. Eyes are closed. You're just imagining that. And as you're looking and glancing, I want you to ask yourself, what right there felt so heavy? It felt so heavy. It really didn't serve your child, not the way you had hoped it would. It didn't bring peace. It was the opposite. What is it? Now, I literally want you to imagine reaching in and pulling it out, or scribbling it out with a pen, or erasing it with an eraser. Get rid of it. Imagine removing it. What would that open up? Literally, like in time, if you're like, yeah, every day we were doing this thing and I never really felt it served my child. Maybe everybody was telling you, you really should do this co-op, but it actually added more stress and you didn't feel it really served your child the way you hoped it would. If you removed that, let's say that was on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the mornings from 10 to 11:30, what does that open up literally for you? I think emotionally it's going to open up for you too. But now would you have more time for connection with your kids, room for rest, an area to get something new involved so that you could have the energy for something you actually enjoy? Here's the thing, simplicity is often not about doing more. No. It's doing less, but as I mentioned a moment ago, it's going deeper. So you're doing things, but with more intention. Okay? So keep that in mind. You may want to pause this episode, jot down some thoughts if they just came up for you. If you're like, whoa, I need to write some things down right now. Great. That's perfect. Do it. The other exercise that I have for you is along those lines, but moving forward. Okay. So now what I want you to do, keep your eyes open if you like, but if you enjoy closed eyes, if that puts you in a more meditative state, go for it. But what I want you to think of now is one child. You may have multiple kiddos. I want you to think of one who pops in your head. Somebody's popping in your head. I know they are. So just start there. You can do this activity, this exercise all on your own later on with each child. But I want you just to think of one kiddo right now. If you could only help that child grow in one area of their lives this next semester, just one. I know we want them to excel in everything. I know, but just one. It could be a subject. Maybe it's math. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's a character trait. Maybe there's some things you're concerned with there. Maybe it's an athletic or a musical skill. Maybe it's a mindset. You need to work on their mindset. Whatever it is, I want you to jot it down. What came to mind just now? And narrow it down to just one. We're going to expand on it, I promise you. But I want you to pick the big thing. What was the big thing? It's likely the first thing you thought of. That's what would have been top of mind. It came so quickly. You can, meditate on it later and maybe other things will come up too. But once you find the one thing, I want that to be your focus just for this next semester. Could you commit to that? And what I want you to do is connect all the other academic studies that you're going to be doing to that area of growth. And there are so many ways that you could do that. If it's writing, for example, if you're like, yeah, we are just lacking in academic leveled writing, those multiple paragraph kinds of essays. If that's it, fantastic. Let's build in history topics with that, science topics with that, literature units with that, informational research, watching videos with that. You're going to pull in all of your other things, as many as you can, but everything's going to come back to that one area of focus. I could go into so much depth here. My brain right now is spinning with ideas of what that could look like, but I'm not going to go into this episode. Do you want me to do an episode on that? Would you prefer I did a class on that? We could all meet on Zoom and kind of do some lesson planning together. Let me know if that interests you. Totally up for creating what you need. But what I want to leave you with now are 5 positive thoughts. Write them all down. If you love them all, pick one. If one really speaks to you, come up with your own if this inspires you, but you need a positive thought. You can write it out in calligraphy. You can type it into a beautiful font. You're going to print it in some way, shape, or matter, and you're going to put it, this one sentence, somewhere where you're going to see it. You could send it to your reminders app on your phone and have it remind you every 3 hours. Have it just pop up, reminder, and there's the thought. How and where can you put a positive thought that is going to help you become the best version of the homeschool parent I know you want to be? I'm going to give you 5 ideas. They're not the only ideas, but there are 5 to get you started. They're 5. I love this first one. That is, less is not lazy, it's intentional. Less is not lazy, it's intentional. Now, this is important for my really busy mamas out there. You're like, oh, I don't see where we can take anything out. Nope, you can. I want you to embrace this new secret weapon of simplicity. I want you to have more breathing room. You're going to have to make this choice and then make it a habit. Those two things go hand in hand. And that does not mean that less makes you lazy. No, you're doing less intentionally. So less is not lazy, it's intentional. Here's a second positive thought for you. What matters most will get done first. Imagine that popping up as a reminder every few hours throughout your day when you're feeling scattered or overwhelmed and you're not feeling very grounded in a moment of any given time. Up it pops. What matters most will get done first. All of a sudden, boom, everything's being prioritized. You're like, well, all I can do right now in the next hour is this. And it keeps you from reacting to those long to-do lists that I know we all have spinning around in our minds. Here's a third really positive thought to help your growth mindset. Progress over perfection is a win. Progress over perfection is a win. So again, if you tend to be the perfectionist style of homeschool parent, you may have some unrealistic expectations that your kids are just always going to be happy that school's about to start. They're not. I'm never happy all the time. We're not even supposed to be. Life is 50-50. That means half the time we're going to be all in and half the time we're going to be dragging our feet. And that's healthy, normal, and realistic. So as long as we're making progress, even at the end of the day, you're like, I didn't get to everything. We had these 5 things I really wanted to get done today. We got 4. We got 3. That's progress. It's a win. Progress over perfection is a win. Okay? The fourth thought, simplifying gives us more time for connection. And by connection, yes, in relationships for sure, but we also need to connect to what it is we're learning. When you just quickly go through a chapter on photosynthesis so that you can check it, mark it as done, there was no connection there. So you want to go deeper and stay there longer, even if it means less things are going to happen or it's going to take you longer to get through the unit. That's okay. You're connecting. You're connecting on a deeper level. You'll be able to connect this with other academic areas. Children will connect with the learning itself. So important. That's where the best learning happens. All right, and the last thought that I have for you, I'm allowed to homeschool in the way that works for us. Could be my favorite one. You know what they say, save the best for last. Do you like that one? I'm allowed to homeschool in the way that works for us. I hope it empowers you. Don't compare yourself. Trust the process, but find your own rhythm. Use your knowledge of what is the most valuable use of your time and then put everything in its place. If you love to read, here's a book I have on my list. I've not read it yet. If you've read it, did you love it? I've heard so many great things about it. It's come up a couple times recently. People have asked if I've read it. So I'm like, I think I need to read it. It's called More Than Enough: How to Grow Your Confidence, Banish Burnout, and Love Your Homeschool Life. It's by Kara, Kara, Stevenson Anderson. I'll link it in the show notes. But what people have said is that she's just so honest. She has a good sense of humor. Like what she shares is comforting more than anything else. It's like she gets it. And it's written for real moms who are juggling their real life. And she has a lot of affirmations in there to remind us that we don't have to do it all to be doing things really well. So there's a book recommendation for anybody who might enjoy that. Here's the thing. As we close it up, I think back to the dress that I made for my junior high promotion from the Simplicity pattern, which, by the way, it was not flawless, but I loved it. It was perfect in its own way, if you get what I mean. It was so incredibly memorable. It was empowering. I made that. And just like that kind of experience, I want you to think of your homeschool. It's not going to be picture perfect, but it doesn't have to be powerful, to be lasting and to be perfect in its own way and incredibly memorable. So as you are preparing for the next semester, just remember it's the simple, imperfect moments, kind of those steady stitches, that are going to make your homeschool story unforgettable. And that's what I want for you. So embrace simplicity, watch your family's learning journey become beautifully your own. And that, my friend, will be your best secret weapon. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.